Hello, how you doing? Yes, we're back. Yes, we had a wee break. Poor Ryan here didn't get the Rangers job. He's gutted.
It was honestly, it was so much heart and effort went into trying to get that job, Billy. I can't tell you how devastated I actually am.
Welcome to Wrestling Forever. If you've never joined it before, it's the wrestling podcast that talks to you like you're not a dick. The way it works is we talk about everything that's going on in the weird and wonderful wrestling world. We ask for you guys to chirp in as well with your opinions, your topics, and listen, nothing is off limits. It could be everything from the wrestling that happens down at the end of the road at the community hall. What do we think of the boots the guys were wearing to right at the top end of WWE, New Japan, and beyond? And of course, AEW, because we're not shameless WWE shills on this show. How fucking dare you? He is the godfather. He is the tribal chief of Celtic wrestling podcasts. Number 1.
50,000 subs, ladies and gentlemen. 50,000
subs.
We're done
and it. Climbing. If AEW could get that many subs into a stadium, it would be a very different operation. And I'm Billy Kirkwood, who exists on YouTube, but I'm an ADHD, shambolic piece of nonsense that I'll be able to do anything with it. Ryan, we've got a lot of catch up with.
Mate, I was going to actually say, like, as we were opening the show, the things that obviously just life getting busy for the two of us these last few weeks and things happening. You know, we've missed Money in the Bank winners. We've missed a great AEW pay-per-view. We've missed the announcement of the last shows at the Asylum. We have missed WrestleMania's changing location. We have got a hell of a lot to catch up on, brother.
We do indeed. And I know, I feel like we've said this before. I feel like we're the dad that keeps missing the sports days and what have you, right? But this is what I can tell you. We are going to make a solid commitment. We're going to sit down. We're going to have a bit of a chat, see figuring out how we can do this, make this more regular, and build it. Build it is what we want to do.
I think one of the things we mentioned was it would be nice to get back in, maybe even if it's not every week, but to be in person as well, to get those kind of formats back.
We want to do that. We want to have some fun looking back at some wrestling pay-per-views for yesteryear and what have you, because sometimes just a little bit of everything, bringing the fun to the podcast. So you're going to see maybe some changes and what have you, but you're going to love them. You're going to love them, I can assure you, because if nothing else, wrestling can be a wee bit up and down over the last.
Do you know what? I was going to say, Billy, if there was ever a time for us to get busy, and if there was a time where we had to miss a few weeks of shows, we've probably timed it pretty well. This kind of if we're talking WWE anyway, it's been a little bit ropey.
Let me ask you a quick question. Do you think that WWE is just kind of dominating too much of the wrestling landscape just now? Because I even found like I had to really go out and kind of seek out my AEW, seek out my New Japan stuff. WWE seems to be all encompassing, particularly my social media and what have you. And I'm an old wrestlehead just now. You got to wonder about what they're doing, man. Are TKO just really managing to take over people's social medias? Are they really managing to reach out there with just controversial things? We've got to talk about R-Truth, right? We'll talk about R-Truth for just a second. What a reaction the wrestling world had when it was said that he wasn't going to get his contract renewed. Now, Ryan, you put this so succinctly the last time we got together. They're a corporation. They're a business. This is how it is. There's no Uncle Vince about anymore. And I know we all know what we think about Vince McMahon, but that was a man that did seem to, on some level, care about the humans. He might not care about the talent. He might not have picked them right, but he seemed to care about the humans in that way. That's gone. That is gone. And by no means am I trying to soften Vince McMahon.
No. It was. Let's make it clear. He was the creepy uncle. He might have been the uncle, but he was the creepy uncle.
But for R-Truth to and from what I'm unpacking, I think it's all kind of out there now. It was a low-level person within the talent relations and TKO that noticed it. It must have gone to Nick Khan. It must have gone to Triple H. If it didn't, and that's terrible. The money against what he was doing on TV didn't equate. He's 53. Right, we're not going to renew. Now, the first thought I thought about this when I heard this story was, well, does that mean they want to negotiate new terms? Does that mean they want to negotiate a new deal rather than be released? because obviously we got the news that Carlito was being let go. Again, it's a kind of similar thing. Although I felt like they never gave Carlito a fair shake. Because
I mean, even Carlito, even Carlito joked in his kind of goodbye statement that he'd been stealing a wage. And do you know what? He's self-aware because he was stealing a wage. The man was literally playing an Xbox every week as part of his TV gimmick. He was stealing a wage.
But, you know, someone was writing it. Nobody was turning in and going, right, we need to get you wrestling. We need to get you doing such and such. You know, you got to go with the head of the snake. So, but now, obviously, from what I'm told, R-Truth will be addressed as R-Truth and Ron Killings on TV. I'm assuming that this is a short run. Like, and by that, I might mean you might have signed a year deal. You might have signed
that was my sort of first reaction, that this must be a 2-year deal, Max. If they're wanting to do a serious R-Truth run, hey, listen, that guy deserves what he wants, in my opinion. He's been there 20 years now in this current contract, or almost 20 years. He has given so much of his time and his efforts to that company, and especially in comedic roles where a lot of guys just say, no, I don't want to do that. R-Truth has done it, and he's done it so brilliantly. But I can only imagine this being a year or two deal to wrap things up for his own career. And hey, if he wants to wrap up his career being a serious contender, if he wants to be, I'd imagine maybe going for a mid-card run at some point with a title, maybe that's in the offing. Fair play to him. If he's wrote that in his contract, if he's got that there, I think it's the least he deserves. And I'm glad to see that he's back on the payroll, and to some extent, whether that is short or long term.
Yeah, that's it. This could be a 6-month run. This could be a 3-month run. This could be a 2-year run. We don't know. It's not been made public. I'm sure the information will probably come out there with time. A little change of the gimmick. We assume. I still see little glimpses of the old R-Truth there. Like he did a promo with Nick Aldis. And I don't know, there was something about I'm driving now, and there was something about the delivery of it that made me go, you might have to protect him on that one, because it did come across a little goofy, and it might have just been the delivery. I'm not sure, but hey, look, you said it. Where do they want to put him? R-Truth is the definition. I think what Bruce Pritchard would put it, you know, take chicken set, make it into chicken salad. He's done an amazing job. Whether there was the heel turn with little Jimmy, translating that into comedic roles on TV. Very successful reinvention of the tag team with him and the Miz.
The 24/7 championship, man, he gave that some form of meaning, for as dreadful as a championship that was. Like, when you think in 20 years' time, when somebody goes, remember the 24/7 championship, you will think of R-Truth. That is who you'll think of when somebody brings up that title.
R-Truth has been more relevant than a lot of the big name stars for a longer period of time. I mean, he's been on our TV every week. I think that's what got me, is the idea, like, fuck me, I'm watching this guy on TV every week. He's been featured every week. He's been featured every pay-per-view.
Yeah,
and somebody went, he's getting paid whatever it was. Let's say it was $2 million a year. I don't know. It seems a bit high, but let's say that was the figure. And somebody went, this guy's 53. How much longer are we going to keep him? We can't afford to pay him this. He might not be doing all that. I don't know. You don't know. And somebody went, that figure needs to get halved minimum.
And I think the thing that annoyed me the most when I heard the news initially that he was gone, and I think the thing that raised the most backstage concern from reports anyway, was it does, and this is, people might go, I have a couple of friends who would maybe go down the narrative of, will they really miss him? Will we get over this quick? And I'm like, no, that might be the case. It's not as if R-Truth's absence from TV is going to make a drastic change to the WWE product. It's not like they're releasing fucking CM Punk or whoever, right? But I think what's more important is you've got to look at things from a human point of view, and it sets such a dangerous precedent in the sense that nobody's safe, you know, and like, at least as you said with Vince, he had his favorites and maybe didn't treat everybody with the same sort of respect or loyalty that he would maybe treat guys he didn't care that much about. But if you were there as a roster member for 20 years, you were probably going to leave on amicable, mutual terms. You weren't going to have your contract just torn up overnight. And if R-Truth's job's no safe, what sort of message does that send to the locker room? Well, his job's not safe.
He's a month out. He's a month out from so they reckoned him and Carlito were around about the same time. So he was a month out from apparently the deal lapsing, and less than a month out. That seems shitty to me. Now, this is somebody that has worked for corporate entertainment in the past, without naming names, and I called them out because I went, I want to know, because I'm thinking of moving on. Are we sitting down, or what are we talking about? And they went, oh, you know, we always give people a lot of notice. And I had to go, But I know that's not true because I
Mm.
know you didn't renew someone's contract with 3 days notice and you really fucked up their quality of life for a little while. You know what I mean? It's like you think you've got a wage coming in for the next couple of months and then someone cuts it. Now, I don't think our truth's going begging, right? I want to make that clear. But it is also where we are. Is this something that's going to be addressed going forward? Are people going to be given notice? Are they going to do it the old way where it's like, all right, your contract's coming up, we immediately take you off TV. We want to devalue you as much as we can so you don't go across the road to the competitor. Paul might not, Uncle Paul might not think of that. Like Triple H might not think of that, or he might. I mean, if R-Truth had turned up on AEW the next week, that would have been a game changer. If he'd been out of contract, because it's the end of the contract. It's not we're releasing you with 30.
It's not garden leave or anything like that.
No garden leave. You're done. You could literally walk across the road tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. And I'm going to echo something I actually said on the last podcast to a certain degree. I miss when we didn't know about these things. I mean, it is quite exciting because if it's rugby or football, you like to hear about movings and goings and all this type of thing. But it
was even the same with football. Like now, there should be massive surprises with like players moving teams. You just don't get it now because you've got fucking Fabrizio Romano out there reporting that somebody's signing for a club in 4 minutes time. But you're right. I do miss stuff like that because imagine the reaction if we tuned into Dynamite and I don't know, the lights went off and suddenly R-Truth is standing or Ron Killings is standing in the middle of a ring. That would be nuts, but you just don't get it now.
But I think, booked the right way, this could be a great final send-off. I mean, I'm surprised Cena didn't come out and went, it was me. I got him sacked. It was me. I did it,
they kind of dropped the ball with that a wee bit, didn't they?
Yeah, I think Billy Ray said something kind of similar to that. I forgot the name. Busted Heads? Busted Open? Busted Open.
Busted Open. Busted Open.
I thought he said something similar, but yeah, I'm really surprised. It's a cheap way to get the heat. I don't know where they're going with it, which is quite exciting. I hope that it does lead somewhere and it doesn't just become like a niggling wee thing or this starts getting slightly goofy after a couple of weeks. If that's R-Truth's role, then that's fine. Keep him doing that for fucking another 10 years. I'm happy.
I was very intrigued by his first promo on Monday because I don't know about you, Billy, but when I listened to the promo, I couldn't make out if it was coming from a heel or a face. There was there was a bit of indecisiveness in there. Like, as he was thanking the fans and he was being sort of like, he was making it clear that he was grateful, but there was also that kind of heelish side to him that was a little bit arrogant, a little bit cocky. So I'm interested to see where it ends up going. Is there some business still to finish with Cena? We'll see.
I like the idea of disgruntled employee.
Yeah. Stick it to the man, R-Truth.
Fuck the man. Like, I'm back here because of you guys, and I'm going to wreak havoc because of fucking doing it. Because these motherfuckers might cut me at any time.
Yep.
Like, if he brought depends how far they want to pull back that storyline. Oh, but, that would be terrible, Billy. Yeah, well, remember everything The Rock did? Shut the fuck up.
He should start smoking at ringside again. Like, grab the nearest packet of Marlboro and just start puffing them out.
But the reason I'm bringing that up is because we are hearing worrying things like Karrion Kross, apart from being super over and being like this third or second best-selling T-shirts or something now at live events.
Man, where is he?
They're not featuring him on TV enough.
Contract is apparently his contract's so close to coming to an end, and we're hearing nothing about reports of him re-signing. I think that the overarching theme of the things here that we're talking about is that TKO really still are getting. I think they're still pretty green when it comes to handling professional wrestling, and even though they're surrounded by guys like Triple H, The Rock, even the guys in the kind of production side of things like Brian James, Road Dogg, and other guys like William Regal, I still think that the corporate side of things is very green, and they're trying to. I've always said that I was scared of the UFC-ification of WWE, and I think that the past 6 months has been the closest UFC-ification that we have seen thus far.
Yeah. The scrambling over Mania. It's kind of weird because initially we heard like they were really, going all out to sign up top stars to long-term deals.
Yep.
I worry that what we'll have is an aging or a stale main roster lineup in a couple of years of the big names. Don't get me wrong, we have seen like Stephanie coming over to
the women's division. I think has got it quite good. They're lucky.
It's definitely bulking up, and seeing Bailey back on TV is always a delight. And I don't know, I just like can we concentrate on the wrestling for a while? Get these guys signed up or let them go. I mean, if R-Truth were to leave WWE, he could probably, blank check most places. Somewhere like TNA would be a great home for him.
Yep.
He could probably even make appearances in New Japan. I've always liked how the charisma and presence R-Truth has on TV. That's a guy that could probably do a bit of acting, given in the right role.
Yeah, 100%. I think that R-Truth is somebody that could thrive and like give him a spot in an Adam Sandler movie, and he would flourish.
A comedic movie, a serious movie, like even an action movie, stuff like that. I think it's going to be interesting to see where we go with this, to be honest. And the same with Carrying, get the boys signed up, and you've got, I've said it before, like, I think you've got like a second Undertaker in Karrion Kross.
You've got a star in the making that the crowd clearly are getting behind. And do you know what? It's just so frustrating. And I think we've seen this with LA Knight again recently with the whole Money in the Bank palaver. I know that's probably something we might come on to. But I thought that the days of WWE as a company hating on someone who gets over themselves were gone with Vince. Because we always knew that Vince didn't like people getting themselves over organically. Yeah. So I thought when he was away, I was like, good, this will let guys like who have looked back in the day, we think about Wade Barrett, who got organically over buried. Damien Sandow, organically over buried. So I was like, that's not going to happen again. But here we have Karrion Kross, who's got himself organically over, selling t-shirts, wanted, and he's nowhere to be seen.
Yep.
So concerning.
Incredible talent. Where does it go? Are they going to then go, well, he's only getting used for segments backstage.
Yep.
You're the ones that are using them like that. You're the ones.
You cannot tell me there isn't enough time between their 6 hours of wrestling on Raw and SmackDown every week to put him on TV for 25 minutes.
Yeah, get him a match. Let him get over every week. Let him take one of the titles. Do you know what I mean? Let him beat Dominic Mysterio. I don't know. Let him be one of the guys that stands up to... I can't call it the Bloodline. I don't know what, but Dangerous. Like, do we have a name for this fucking faction yet?
We don't. It's just Solo Sikoa and his Goonies at this point.
It's got the Goonies, Seth and Paul.
His Goonies.
Well, whatever the fuck they're called, just pals. That's a great name. Pals. Evil pals. We'll go with that.
P.A.L.S. It could start Paul's Alliance of Lesbian something. Oh,
wow, I love it. Let's make it happen. But we've got a lot to cover in the wrestling world. We've got to talk a little bit about AEW right now.
Wow.
I'm really enjoying AEW.
Yep.
I know I've just said I don't want to talk too much about contract things. I better say something that's a bit controversial, right? That I've heard it's a public party, private party.
Apparently WWE are looking at them, aren't they?
Thank fuck. Maybe they can train them to wrestle. I'm gonna come out and say something like, those boys need to learn to work, man. Like, what the fuck do you know, Kirkwood? How many matches have you wrestled? I've always found them really scrappy. I've always found it looks like, you look at the I nearly said the Street Kings.
To be fair, Billy, if anybody tried to play that card with you, I would like to remind them very quickly that you have, in fact, called thousands of matches to this point.
I appreciate that. But the reason I'm saying that is because I like Private Party, but I've never loved Private Party. Go on, Billy, rattle off your favorite Private Party match. That's kind of where we are. So I would hope Sean, the trainer's getting on them, firm things up a little bit, get them working as a tag team. The boys have got all the charisma and all the talent. I want to make that clear. They would be a great signing for WWE. I'm not straight to main roster. Keep them in NXT for a little while. Keep them in NXT for a little while, man, because we need some work done there. I like them. I really do. Or sign them. If you're going to re-sign them AEW, then that needs to get worked on because I really like AEW, man. I want to make that clear, but there's some scrappy shit in there sometimes that needs to get worked on.
Well, I mean, listen, we know that WWE have got a purpose-built performance center for this exact job. I think the NXT could be doing with some support in that tag division. There's a lot of things that could work out pretty well, but AEW itself, has been on a bit of a roll, and they're doing everything they can to possibly capitalize on this kind of down period in WWE that's been there. Don't get me wrong, I've enjoyed the WWE product since Money in the Bank, and I think we're seeing improvements. But that period between Mania and Money in the Bank, man, there was some insufferable shit in there, and I wish that, and I think AEW have done all the things right that they can. Some things maybe not so much, but I wish they'd try and get it out there more, because people are missing some really good stuff in the absence of quality things in WWE right now. We're now less than a month away from All In, and all I can say is, Billy, I am buzzing for that show.
Yeah, God, it looks great. There's a great buzz around it. I heard there's going to be 17,000 people there, which is great. Or is the cap 2017, something like that. Anyway, it was doing well. I think they've got another 3,000 tickets to sell, which probably in wrestling terms will probably manage. And we've got some matches we care about. Do I want to see Kenny Omega versus Okada? Yes, I do. I do want to see Kenny Omega versus Okada for the new belt, which is really, I think it's lovely.
Here's my one big complaint, though. I just want to get out there from AEW in these past few months. Right. I love the belt. Is gorgeous. It's a stunning looking. It looks. What's most important about it is it looks like a wrestling belt, right? And I love that. However, the AEW Unified Championship, the Unified
terrible
what?
Name.
Terrible name. They could be. It could be what would be it sounds like something that the members of the Orange Lodge would fight over. I am the unified what? We don't know what's fucking unified. That's the only thing that's pissed me off. The name is dreadful.
No, I think you're right. Yeah, I mean, again, unified sounds like you unified all the titles.
Aye.
Like the world title.
This is like the one title.
Yeah, it's the one title, the one, so it's the fact that had to go through committees and Tony and belt designs and belt drawings, and then it had to go to a belt maker, but without anybody going unified, really bothers me,
because I am all for, it had to happen. We had to get rid of the two belts. There couldn't be a continental and an international champion. It just made no sense. And of course, we've heard that WWE has Intercontinental Championship trademark, so they couldn't do an AEW Intercontinental Championship. But anything else would have done. Anything, I would have took fucking junior heavyweight champion or anything over this, just anything at all.
It's it's a bit of a weird one as well, because AEW kind of became obsessed at one point with giving belts to main event guys who weren't in main event programs.
Yep.
And this guy's still a big deal. And it's he is, I guess, but he's allowed not to have the world title and not have a belt round his waist. It's fine. I kept waiting for the Young Bucks to get their own title or some bullshit like that, I mean, God, you remember when, and they'll still do it, ROH does get featured in AEW TV, and sometimes it's fuck me, this is a mess. So with that respect, happy to see these guys fight over a belt. Happy to see Okada have something to do of some meat and some merit. I almost kind of wish it wasn't Kenny Omega yet, because it feels like just as you're giving Okada something really to get his teeth into, it's Kenny Omega. Remember, they had the 5-star classic matches from Elsa, and you're should he not be learning what happens after this? Who does Okada wrestle after this? I wonder if he regrets it. Do you think he regrets going to AEW?
No, I think with the money he's making alone, he'll be pretty chuffed. But I think he'll certainly be thinking to himself that he could be doing a lot more. But listen, I mean, how long was the deal? 5 years, I think, 5 years. Something like that. So
this has to be his last deal.
He's still got time in this deal. By the time we get to the last 2 years of it, then I think that's when the serious conversations will come about. Has he regretted? Has it been a waste of time? But they need to start getting something that's really clicking for him soon, I think.
Dude, you could see the same about Nakamura. It's has Nakamura wasted his time? Probably not if you ask him in relation to his bank account.
No, he'll be buzzing. I think he said that. I think it was an interview 2 years ago, maybe, and he was very, very honest. And he said, "I don't care. I'm making millions." And I'm like, cool, fair. That's fine by me.
Fair play. But the rest of AEW, is great to see them doing well. Looking forward to them doing this summer tour. Looking forward to the residency at the old ECW arena. It's you said it. They just seem to be making some decisions.
And WWE are definitely noticing. They are definitely noticing because they have booked the 2300 arena. They're putting up shows at the same time as AEW. Like, the viewership is still very much in WWE's favor. Not I care. I'm not one of those virgins on Twitter that goes on about, well, AEW only had 400,000 viewers this week. I don't care. But WWE are noticing that the product is improving and they want to try and put an end to that. So they're doing something right. And fair play to Tony Khan, because for as much stick as I give him, he does deserve bits of credit when it's due. So fair play to him.
AEW get one breakout star. Yeah, like I've said this before, they get one star that clicks. We're off to the races.
Well, that's what All In could be. That could be the show, man.
Yeah, they like all they need is like, I mean, look at the difference Punk made when he was there.
Yep.
If Punk had stayed, might have been diminishing returns on that platform. We'll never know. We'll never know. But they, I mean, that knocked them for 6 for at least 2 years. Punk leaving.
The only thing I can say is, and I agree with you completely on all the Punk stuff. I've been very vocal about that on social media. But like, I can't remember what pay-per-view it was now. But the end, was it Revolution? When the Young Bucks returned at the end of the show, was it? I can't remember exactly what pay-per-view it was now, but they returned at the end of the show, and it was a great show, and I felt like the ending just, it put everything back to square. I was like, well, that's all the good things of tonight, just fucking irrelevant.
Yeah.
Don't do that at All In. Please do not do anything at the end of that show. I don't mind the thought that there's been internet theories running around, like Daniel Bryan could come back and help Moxley retain or something. Like, I want the title to flip to Hangman personally. But like, if they do something smart that's good, cool. Something that's really eye-opening, but don't give us like the fucking Young Bucks coming out to fucking help Moxley winning the belt, you know?
There was a point there when Hangman was chasing Kenny Omega for the belt that I genuinely thought, he's their guy. He's their Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, of course.
He's their guy. That's the guy that people are going to start tuning in to see, because obviously he had the thing with the Dark Order and people really liked that organically.
Punk, of course.
And man, we were on our way. We were on our way. And then I think either his wife was giving birth or something like that, and he didn't make the pay-per-view that they were going to peak at, and they did it slightly later. Never felt the same since. Never, like, literally it felt like, that was meant to be it. That one there was meant to be it. And then felt like he went into the Punk stuff very quickly, and it was like, fuck, it's all bad. We're away.
The stuff with Swerve has put I think his stock's at an all-time high after all this stuff.
It's back.
Swerve. Yep.
It's back. So I mean, I've said they need the guy. I actually think Hangman Page is the guy.
They need so. I mean, let me just check very quickly here. Hangman's
going to be at least
33.
He's so
he's more that is so young in wrestling. That's like he has 8
to
years.
Consider everything he's done. That's crazy.
He's got 8 more years of being full time if he can be arsed with it. If his body can take it, he could be Mr. AEW if they just make sure they do things right. You know.
I think he needs to be the guy that takes the title from Moxley, fights, scrap. You know what I mean? Like, really, the jeopardy of that. That needs to be the guy they're chasing. I don't see anyone else up there, to be honest. I'm still not really I mean, I still don't really know what I think of the Heart Syndicate. I want to like it.
This is the stuff with MJF. I think is maybe like throwing in a chip to try and make it really work. And I think it's working. I think that there's been an improvement on the quality of entertainment that they offer in weekly television. But I think it All In, I don't know what they're going to do All In quite yet, because there's obviously nothing confirmed. But there's a chance for them to, once again, on a show like that, put a statement forward to say, like, right, okay, let's go all in on the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah. Lashley wants the world title. Are we going to have a feud between MJF and that? I don't really know. I'm still kind of like, I don't really know how I feel about MJF, because part of me feels like the ship has sailed a little. I still kind of feel like that. I enjoy his presence on TV. I do enjoy his shtick, but part of me goes like, but where are you, man? Like, where does this go? Like I just see where this goes. Are you gonna?
MJF has been the biggest sort of. I don't know. I don't want to use the phrase "let down," but I've cooled down on him lots these last couple of years, and that frustrates me.
I feel like he became world champion, and then it just didn't go anywhere. And then he had the thing with Adam Cole again, which was enjoyable.
Injuries didn't help. They didn't help, admittedly. Injuries didn't help, admittedly.
No,
the time off.
Injuries didn't help. I don't know if he's being protected where he is right now.
Mm-hmm.
How can you?
I'll always say this. Do you know what I don't think helped either?
What's that? The
whole point in his gimmick being that he was like so against Tony Khan and so anti this and that, and he was like, I'm not even going to use anti-authority because his gimmick wasn't anti-authority. It was just he was better than authority. You know, he was the guy. To then come back and reveal a fucking tattoo of the company on his leg just felt a little bit out of character for me, and that killed a lot of the magic for me.
Nobody could accept him as a face or whatever the fuck that was. Insincere sincerity, whatever the fuck, you know. I think it felt for me. I think I said this at the time. I'm not repeating myself because I think my opinion still is that it felt like they spunked through like 5 years and 2.
Yeah, it's a great way to word it. It felt there was so much flipping and flopping with the Adam Cole saga, growing him into this face that he didn't want to be, to then become a face, to then go back and be a heel again, to then
quick.
Yeah, and then to then have this tattoo in his leg, to then throw him at and now even that he's in the Hurt Syndicate, it feels like this is like 5 years of stuff that could have happened, drawn out from in 2023.
And the thing is as well, I guess, like, sometimes people like the journey. Well, nobody thinks that he's going to be a part of the Hurt Syndicate long term. Like nobody thinks that. Yeah. So where the fuck is that going? Like, is Bobby Lashley going to win the world title and then he's going to fuck over Bobby Lashley and then they're going to go into a feud? Mm-hmm. When does that happen? Is Lashley Hangman Page's next feud? Because I'm fucking done with Moxley and the Death Riders. Brim Brim. A fucking stupid name, man. Like, fucking hell. Like, remember the Disciples of Apocalypse, the DOA?
Yes.
That makes Death Riders sound butch, right? So it's like, fucking, oh my God. I don't give a fuck about. Imagine you're a wrestling fan, you tune on, you go Moxley, and you go, what's my uncle doing on this? I don't give a shit.
See, that's Moxley's fans are like fans. He can't do no wrong in their eyes. But I'm with you, and I get it. People might not like us saying it. They might think we're harsh. But if I turned on my TV and I don't know anything about John Moxley, the guy ain't doing much for me. He's just not. He's
so far removed from the guy we gave a fuck about.
Yeah.
Like in AEW, which was only like a few years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hope this is the end of it, because if it's not Hangman Page, we're gonna go back with Swerve again. I feel like Swerve needs to be kept away from the title a wee bit now.
The only Swerve involvement that I would be up for seeing at All In is if he came out and helped Hangman win.
Yeah.
That's the only way I'd want to see involvement.
I'm not adverse. I mean, I thought Swerve was, again, he wasn't given a fair shake.
Yeah.
He wasn't given a fair shake. So, and again, that's another guy that I go, you can build the company on this guy, but you also need like 2 or 3 more. You know, you need guys for them to wrestle. And
because their pillars are gone, aren't they?
Oh, their pillars are gone. I mean, why is Bobby Lashley now getting pushed up into that position? Oh, that's right. He's 1.5 of the tag team champions, but he could be. He could be the guy that they wrestle and challenge. Samoa Joe's kind of in there as a vet, and he's in and out. But who else really is there? Like, that we would go, that guy. Well, it's not Kenny Omega and Okada right now. They should be up there.
And those two are getting on, so.
Yeah, and they don't want to be getting fed to, fodder to John Moxley in a title reign that everyone has frankly had enough of. What the fuck happens to John Moxley after all this as well?
Listen, we'll leave that for the bookers to decide after fucking All In,
I'm looking forward to the pay-per-view. I'm looking forward to the summer. I'm looking forward to the future for AEW. There needs to be bona fide challengers. I would like to see a couple more faces from the independent scene coming in. I think we could do with some fresh faces. That's what I used to love about like Dark, AEW Dark.
I loved it when people would just pop up randomly on Dark, like unannounced as well. You're like,
unannounced.
Yeah,
get Rhino on a contract.
Was it not on like it wasn't Dark? I don't think. Maybe it was like Rampage. But remember, like Matt Cardona just turned up one week, like just randomly.
Such a weird one. Like,
aye.
I mean, I know he's back doing stuff in TNA again. I think it's hard to fucking guess, to be honest. Like he's in and then he's out, and he's in and he's out. They haven't seemed to have signed him to any form of contract, and he's still doing the independence all over.
Yep.
Why is that guy not signed a contract anywhere?
I think he's desperate to get back in WWE, and if whether or not they're bothered is a different story. That's my theory.
But even at that, how long would you get? Look at Carlito, 2 years?
Yeah.
The Cardona gimmick is great, but we've had nearly 5 years of the Cardona gimmick now, and there's still plenty of mileage in it. I'm not giving it a hard time, but I don't necessarily know if it's in WWE.
I don't think it. I mean, I remember our first episode I spoke about. I'm not the biggest Cardona fan anyway, so like, I ain't the guy to ask.
If I'm playing armchair booker, I just go, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I don't see it. I mean, you could turn around and go, oh well, we'll look at Sean Spears, who's doing a great job, and as well as that, doing putting people over. I think he's coaching at NXT now as well as appearing on TV. And I go, yeah, that's a great role for him.
He's at an age where that makes sense for him.
It's a great role, and although I was delighted to see the Inspiration come back. Just as a pivot there for a second, because obviously he's married to one of them.
Oh yeah, of course.
Nice to see the older iconics Inspiration make the return.
Yep.
Big fan. I've always been a big fan.
They should be back in. They should be in the women's tag division in WWE, Billy. But here, listen. What do we know? What
what I always liked about them so much was actually their social media. And like, if you ever like two squawky, noisy Aussie birds, just
their voices went right through you. They were
funny, man.
Funny. They were good. They still are good.
They still are good. So it's great to see them back. And of course, TNA. I think in the next 6 months we're going to see some big changes in TNA. I think Hendry's going to be gone.
Yeah,
we're going to see some faces. I mean, some different names are going to have to get pushed towards the world title and what have you. What do you think of Trick Williams becoming TNA world champ? What do you think?
I listen, for somebody who doesn't watch NXT on a weekly basis because of timing related things and TNA, I try and get watching as much as I can. It doesn't affect my life greatly, but I wasn't a huge fan of it happening. I wasn't overly thrilled about it. Do I think that it could help Joe Hendry? Yes, I do weirdly think that it could help him if they do things right and have him chase and book things right on that side of it. But I wasn't overly ecstatic, put it that way.
You know, the president of TNA was at ringside when the title change happened. And hey, the man just might be working us, but he didn't look fucking happy at all.
Well, my question to you was going to be, who do you think made that call? What would you say?
I would think it has to be made in conjunction with both booking teams.
Yeah,
like it had. Who suggest? Like, there's no way unless they have literally just signed it over. Unless it's like full creative control. If we have this deal, we have full creative control on anything that appears in our programming. And if they did that, I hope the benefits were amazing.
I hope they're getting paid.
and I know that TNA attendances are up. T-shirts are up. Ratings are up. So, but again, I'm kind of like, wasn't a big fan of it. I don't know if it helps Trick Williams. I thought Trick Williams was a face, but he's a heel. I don't know, really. I don't know.
I personally don't think Trick Williams had to be anywhere near that championship. And I know that he's in a bit of a weird position right now because I don't know if he's quite ready for the main roster. So they need to do something with him in NXT. But I don't know, Britt, get somebody like, I know he's a tag champ at the minute, but like have Nick Nemeth come over and feud with him for a couple of months. Have Matt Cardona come over and feud with him for a couple of months. I would have rathered that, but hey, it's their decisions apparently.
Maybe it's leading towards some type of civil war between TNA and NXT. But if it is, don't make it just like, oh, look, he's turned up this week. We promise we won't sign them. It seems to be where we are. But Anyway, shall we get to some questions, sir?
I would love to get to some questions. I've enjoyed our chat so far.
We have had some good ones coming in. Here's one for you. Is the King of the Ring tournament the fuel for Randy to turn on Cody, possibly at SummerSlam? That's been sent by Aiden, AOB 270198. Potentially starting from Randy turning on Wrong Killings for what happened at Saturday night's main event. So basically what we're saying is Randy about to turn on Cody?
I have two things to say very quickly. I like that people are the screenshots are flying of Randy looking at Cody as if, oh, something's going to happen. And I love the thought of heel Orton being back on. I think Randy Orton's just a much better heel and more entertaining as a heel and more interesting as a heel. But what I will say is, and what will frustrate me the most is, yeah, it's a good thing to do with Cody to pass the time at this moment before maybe he goes back into a title run, whatever. But this was something they should have been doing with Cody Rhodes as champion, in my opinion. Yeah. I would have loved this as a championship match where there was a legitimate opportunity for Randy Orton to win his 15th world title as a heel. None of this face Randy Orton just getting a shot for the sake of it, like he got a shot at Gunther last year.
Yeah,
I would have loved a legitimate heel Orton being a threat to that belt, and I feel like it'll be wasted a little bit if we don't get that. But, you know, if he's healed for a long time, maybe he'll get that shot anyway. But, yeah, listen, there's a lot of potential with that. History's there. Why not?
No, I like it. I think you're absolutely right. It does feel a wee bit of a wasted potential. I don't know if I'm in love with how Randy Orton's been booked, really. It's also been a bad luck. That feud with Kevin Owens, I think, would have been... I think that would have went beyond Mania.
No, it would have, 100%.
I think that would have went beyond Mania, so that's a real shame. And I'm not in love with that.
This is why Orton needs to turn heel, because his booking since he returned at War Games the same night as Punk has been like, here's that legend, there's that old man Randy. You know, he's here.
Can I say, right, the narrative? I want to address that. I'm going to address that in a minute, right? But the whole narrative of, the old veteran, the old dog, Randy Orton. Do you see the shape and the performances that Randy... What the fuck are you looking at?
Why are we treating him as like this Randy, jokes aside, this Randy old man that's just back to have a bit of fun? Like, this is a man who could legitimately kill somebody.
Do you want a good one for you? Do you want a good one? Randy Orton is older than when Bob Backlund won his second world championship in WWF.
Wow, that's nuts.
And remember how they treated him as an old man. Oh, this weird. It's like
this world champion.
Yeah, how could he possibly win? So we're in a different world now. I don't know if the old man stuff really works, but yeah, I agree with that completely. Although it does bring me on to one that was sent by our pal Parky Streams, who said, does Goldberg deserve another match in WWE? What do you think?
Billy, I've not had a great chance to talk about Bill Goldberg on this podcast since we've started.
Oldberg, as the internet is calling him. Oldberg.
I hate him. I hate him
with all
my heart. I despise him. I will never forgive him for ending my glorious Kevin Owens title reign. And I just don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him as a human being. I don't like him as a wrestler. I do not like Bill Goldberg. I have zero interest to see him wrestle ever again. But one last match won't hurt. I don't mind him. I don't mind him getting his metaphorical flowers and farewell. I think that should have probably been done a good few years ago.
Well done before now.
Yeah. But listen, if he has one last match, and if it's one last match, I'm fine with that. But as long as he's not fucking beating Gunther or anything like that, otherwise I will have a heart attack.
I will say this much: like, I have enjoyed Bill Goldberg moments.
Yes,
like I'm old enough to remember the buzz
of different generation,
the WCW. But again, that's not me being like, I'm a big Bill Goldberg fan. I like Bill Goldberg moments. Like, it was cool to see him beat Hulk Hogan. It was good to see him turning on your TV and having someone getting destroyed every week. They did that now. I'd love it. Yep. You know what I mean? Like, if you tuned on every week and had him destroying opponents, you go, that'd be fucking cool. But it doesn't really happen now. They've tried it and it's failed. The closest we've got to that is Braun Breaker, and that seemed a lot more organic. There's a point of order.
I grew up with a very different Goldberg, of course, old man who Listen, I remember that match at Survivor Series against Brock. It was brilliant. That was that was so good.
Well, but it's what we live for. What we live for. Surprises.
They could have done the Mania 33 match and left it there for all I cared.
Yeah, so I didn't mind that. I didn't mind the Kevin Owens change just because it was ridiculous that he should. You know what I mean? It's another surprise. I feel like it didn't hurt Kevin Owens because again, I didn't feel they were booking Kevin right at the time.
Yeah.
When I started having problems with it is when he bet the Fiend.
Yeah, I forgot. I wiped that from my memory, Billy.
Yeah, a lot of people have, man.
You have ruined my evening.
I didn't mind his street fight with Dolph and Saudi because, like, I hated his match with The Undertaker. So it's ups and downs. Like, I don't mind these moments. I just don't necessarily care about Bill Goldberg, if you know what I mean. So to answer your question, Parky Streams, if this is the end, I don't have an issue with it. Him versus Gunther. Fuck me. Don't put the title on him.
Don't say that. We'll not put it in the air. We'll not put it in the air.
Make it non-title. I mean, they won't. They won't. Does he lose to Gunther, and then Bill gets his flowers on TV? I don't know how that match even looks.
It's strange as well because it's Saturday night main event, which means it's going to have adverts draped all the way through it.
Yeah, so we'll have to do that in between a couple of fucking adverts. So I feel like he should just be coming out and smashing someone and then going, "That's me done." And the thing is, Bill, if you are watching, and I know you're a fan of the show, you can't you use this as an excuse because your son had never seen you wrestle. And that's when you wrestled Dolph Ziggler, and you brought this. Your wee kid into the ring. And what a lovely, obviously it was a lovely moment. But your son is now playing for the NFL and is built like a brick shithouse, right? Your son is going to be the next Bill Goldberg if he wants to. I hope he wants to wrestle better. This kind of reeks of ego. I don't know. I guess he's one of the last. He's one of the last. He's one of the last of that generation. He might be. Fuck me. Is he the last Monday Night Raw, WCW, Nitro? Is he the last one? He might be.
Well, I mean, Chris Jericho's still active.
I guess so. I
can't think of.
Nash is very much gone. I would imagine he's not going to wrestle anytime soon. In fact, I'm sure I saw him saying he wasn't going to.
Angle's finished. I mean, the Rock.
I never really thought of that. Yeah.
We're counting that guy. No, but you're right. He's one of the last of a dying breed, anyway.
Yeah. So, give him the match. I don't know how it looks. Glad I'm not fucking booking it. Moving on. I think. Moving on. Here's another one. Is Jey Uso being the mystery pick for the King of the Ring the right choice? I'll ask you that question.
No, he's not. I'm not as pissed off as some other people are. I get it. He's just lost the world title. He needs something to jump into. I don't think he'll win King of the Ring. I know a lot of people are saying, "Oh, is this his route to winning it?" But he wins King of the Ring and he goes to SummerSlam. I don't see that happening. But I don't think it's the right choice. I mean, I thought it screamed for Karrion Kross, to be quite honest. That was my pick. So maybe I'm just disappointed it's not him.
Yep, I wanted Karrion to take the title off him.
Yeah, I thought that would have been. I don't even look. Listen, I don't even think that Karrion Kross needs to jump straight into such a situation like that. But even I would have took a Karrion Kross mid-card title run to begin with. But imagine that if he was the one to dethrone Jake. I'm chuffed that Gunter's champ again. But I mean, that would have been nuts. So I would have rather seen that spot go to him personally. Yeah,
no. Yeah, I think you're right. It's I don't have an issue with Jey Uso being still involved, but we have many rumors like he was having a hard time with the schedule, and he was having X, Y, and Z. This was a booking decision to make Saturday night's main event a bigger deal. Yep. So, but Goldberg having championship stakes to try and pop a rating on there. That could be true. I don't know.
There'll be some element of truth to it. There'll be some element of truth.
I think so. We'll wait and see. Go on here from our pal Billy at the Scottish Wrestling Network. Hello, Bill. Hope you're good. He said, would love to hear you two discuss some Asylum memories with the final shows at ICW happening there next week. Now, I want to clear something up very quickly, and just very quickly, ICW isn't done. Like, we're just doing shows in the garage.
There are shows advertised for after the Asylum.
Yeah, exactly. There's going to be some other things coming up, Blockbuster Wrestling, all that type of stuff, and there's going to continue to be ICW shows, which we're very, very excited about because it's always amazing to be back in the garage. The Asylum is such a weird one for me because I've seen all the different incarnations of the Asylum. Like, I remember when it became the wrestling school and calling one of the first GPWA shows with Chris Renfrew, actually, of all people, calling the shows there. And then, but for me, it was what kept us going when the world shut down for lockdown. It's weird that's what my brain immediately goes to. And I know it's not the most obvious one, but when me and Jamie Kennedy were calling the matches from here, like we were doing them down Zoom. We were calling the matches after we got the footage. And then when we started first doing those wrestling shows. And so it's, for me, there's a big part of that. It was a big comfortable and warm space to go back into and get to reconnect with everyone. But I also think the last couple of years calling the stuff for you, we've got to have so much fun. We've got to have so much fun calling those shows, and they've been brilliant. Memories though, Jesus.
I mean, obviously my time there's been a lot shorter than yours, but I mean, I remember arriving and being transferred from the fan perspective to actually being there in the place, and it's a good place just to get to know everybody. I thought that was that's the thing that stands out for me, is that, you know, everybody's kind of at home there. There's a comfortable nature and element that follows everybody, and it made me feel at home when I first came in. So I mean, I've got memories of, you know, Drew turning up after hours, and, you know, stuff like the Halloween shows where we had great fun dressing up. But they're all good memories. They're all good memories.
Yeah, so it's really hard to describe. I mean, the garage I've always thought has been our kind of spiritual home, and obviously the Battlelands I would love us to see go back into those places. So for me, it's, do you know what it's like? It's handing in your notice because you know you've got to take a chance on a new job. So there's that little bit of like, oh, but I think
I was going to say it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet because the bitterness of leaving a place behind that has been so integral to the last, you know, decade of ICW. But then the sweet side of it is that it opens up new possibilities, and it opens up a new chapter in the history of the company. So, you know, there's always two ways to look at things.
I think you can see a little bit of that. I think about the fun with like Simon and yourself, and you know, making friends new and old there. I'm going to miss the Asylum. I am going to miss the Asylum, but I think onward and upward. I think so. Yeah, loads of amazing memories. I'll tell you who has popped me more than anyone else at the Asylum.
Cool.
Is Denise.
Yeah, I was going to say, is it Denise?
It's Denise. Pop after pop after pop. So Debbie put up a little post the other day that I saw, and I did have to say nothing but pops from the commentary desk. Nothing but pops.
It's true. I mean, I cannot name a time where I haven't popped.
I have lost it a couple, and I pride myself in not losing it.
We've both done it,
but I was fucking so stupid. But I love that about wrestling, where like our pajama bottoms came down and she tripped on them, and it was just so fucking ridiculous, man. And it was just, oh god, funny, and I think of that being a place where Rio and Arcade Violence came into their own, and seeing Dylan Thorne go into his own. We saw some terrific angles and matches. I'm gonna think back of those times very fondly, but we're moving on, and I'm looking forward to the last two shows. Gutted, of course, there, sir.
I know. I'm devastated that I won't be there.
We will be there. You'll be there in spirit. You'll be there very much in spirit. And I might have a dummy made up of spirit. I might just keep me in check. But I think it's going to be fine, and onwards and upwards. Got a couple of unusual questions coming in. Let's see. Where is it? I want to get this one right. If you could be put in a submission move by any wrestler, who and what would it be and why?
I have my answer.
Go on, Emmett.
John Cena and the STFU, because that shit does not hurt. Not the way he applies it. And I know that.
I've got to say, I don't think R-Truth did a great job of putting it on him.
No, listen, I don't know what it is about that move But until John Cena started doing it in that way that has looked terrible for years, it's almost as if everybody else in WWE anyway that locks in that move does it the exact same way. Yeah. And I'm like, why are we doing this? It looks... He used to do it well when it was the STFU back in the day. But now it's just... There's like... I don't... Oh, no. I'm taking that because it won't hurt.
Despite the fact I think he's a bit of a shit of a human being...
Right.
Who doesn't want to get put in Ric Flair's figure 4?
True.
I mean, Bret Hart's sharpshooter. I've always thought Sting Scorpion Deathlock was shite. Can I just
I agree. Like,
I've never once went, oh, he's fucking doing him on that
one.
I'll
tell you one thing about the figure 4. Growing up, when I was watching wrestling young, I always used to look at the figure 4 and went, no way that hurts. Like, that's not, that doesn't hurt at all. Like, that's just, it's all, no, but it's selling, whatever. And then my mate Jack, who I think actually asked a question this week, but my mate Jack, he was doing wrestling training when we were about 16, 17, right. And he learned how to properly do a figure 4. And we were at my mate's one day and he had a trampoline and we were about 16. He's like, do you want to come out and I'll do the figure 4 to you? And I was like, go. Agony. Absolute agony. I will never say that about the figure 4 ever again.
No fun at all. So I think just so I could sell it, just so I could really go, I think I'd fucking love to sell this and do the whole thing where you're nearly passed out. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
And just to reverse it once, but then rolling back in and then tapping it.
Yes.
That's what I think. That's what I think. That's showing respect to the bygone era.
Cinema.
Do you know what I mean? I'll put the whole finish together. I get a shine back briefly for a second. And then Rick becomes the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. So that'd be my one. Do you have any other questions, sir?
There was a question where I get my Twitter up just now, because I will ask the question my mate Jack sent in. I would like to say, as I load this question up, big shout out to my mate Jack, who has started his own wrestling channel. Show him some love under the name Jackie Hendricks. Some great new fresh content over there. But he did ask us a question. If I can find it, I'm struggling here. Here we go.
About who do you on the flop?
Nice. Who do you think Seth Rollins will cash in on? Do you think it will be Cena, Gunther, or someone else? So we didn't actually touch on what did you think of Seth winning the briefcase?
Puts him in a powerful position without putting a title around his waist. Nice. So I think that's important for that faction to have, right? So happy with that. They did that with the Judgment Day. They've done that with other factions in the past. Puts him in an important position without in the title, and he's missed their Money in the Bank. He was, when he famously cashed in on Lesnar and what have you. So we know that. So I didn't have an issue with it. I wasn't madly excited about it, but then it led to other things. So I think I would have liked to have seen on someone else, but clearly they're lining Seth up for another run.
Just gutted that it's not LA Knight. I was so sad, mate. I was devastated. But
I thought they might give LA Knight a shout because they need someone else up in that part of,
that was the chance.
LA Knight dethroning Gunther, I don't hate as a concept. Sorry, I think you froze there for a second. LA Knight dethroning Gunther, I would not hate at all. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm all right with it. I just thought there was other people in the match that it could have went to.
Yeah, I would agree. Basically, I wanted LA Knight badly, didn't happen. Bit gutted at first it was Seth, but long-term vision, hoping it provides something good. Who do I see him cashing in on? No. Wow. Different question.
Wouldn't it be mental?
Go on.
If Punk won the title.
Well, never say never.
Seth cashed in.
Never say never. Never say never.
Getting revenge for all, I mean, I wouldn't hate it. I'd be shaking for Punk.
Yeah.
But
if they do it though, I'd rather they'd done it at SummerSlam to make the feeling of Punk beating Cena even bigger, because it needs a longer build. It needs story and substance. This
feels like it's Cena's using one of his dates.
Yeah.
And I mean that with respect to Punk. I want to make that clear. Like, it's a big match, but Ryan's nailed it. it doesn't have enough of a build up. And I go, well, he's still got, whatever it is, fucking 30 dates to go or something like that. It's still up there. And I know that could probably translate to Monday Night Raws and house shows and what have you, but he's easily got about like 29 or something dates left. I don't know what the number is exactly. I don't know if anyone's counting out there, but yeah, I would like to see that. I'd like to see that. Him beating Punk though, I think would be quite cool, and it would lead to another feud with them.
Finish up, because they've still got to have that third match, haven't they? Have they had two? No, I don't think they've had two yet. So they had the match on Raw. Oh, they have the match on Raw, the steel cage match, and they need a third. So we're waiting for the part 3.
So this could, in theory, be the third.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? This could, in theory, be the third. And if anyone's going to argue, like, well, what are you putting the title on Punk? He's nearly 50 and what have you. It's like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, but you still want the biggest stars on their TV. You still CM Punk.
Yep.
I'm not saying put the title on him for a fucking year, but, him winning the title and then losing it to Seth, I like, because it puts Seth over, it puts their feud over, it puts Paulie Dangerously, I can't believe I still call him that after all this time, Paul Heyman over,
Yep.
Fuck it, you could bring back Lesnar if somebody deletes the pictures of his hard drive if you want, you know what I mean?
Well, hell.
I think his daughter's going to make her debut in WWE before.
Oh, that's coming. That's coming, by the way. That is coming. The signing is coming.
Just like smashed a shot putting record or something at the weekend.
That girl is the second beast incarnate.
Certainly is, man. I look forward to her smashing guns up. I really do.
Oh, same.
Mother-daughter tag team. Let's make it happen.
Are we bringing back not Sunny? What's her name?
We're bringing back Sunny anytime.
I forgot her name. Why is her name Sable? For goodness sake.
Well, I saw a picture of her the other day. She seems to be doing well.
Phil, that's good.
Couldn't tell you how old she is. Like, literally, I saw this the other day. They've had at least like 3 kids or something. And it's like, I haven't the first fucking clue how old Sable is. She could be anywhere between 45 and 60 for all I know. I haven't the first fucking clue. But she's wearing well, and she's still getting bumped by Brock Lesnar.
Yes. Shall we take it up the road on that thought?
Let's take it up the road. Next week's topic: which retired wrestler would you pump? Male or female? We're not being disgusting. Who is it? Maybe these are the topics we need to start setting.
That's a title. Which retired wrestler would you pump? There you go. That's the next podcast. If you had there was a gun to your head.
Which position and why?
I'm leaving Eddie McMahon out of this. Even Stephanie was just leaving Eddie McMahon out.
Who is going to be the king of the ring, if you know what I mean? Right. Bud, enjoy your holiday.
Thank you.
Your holiday. You will be missed at ICW, but we will be back at some point next week or when Ryan gets back with another episode, unless I jump on and do a little mini one or something. We'll see how it goes.
That's good.
We're going to keep the wheel turning on this one as we're heading into a white hot summer of pro wrestling. On behalf of me, Billy Kirkwood, the People's Princess, the Goth Diva, and Tribal Chief.
Thank you.
Tribal Chief. There he is right there. Number one. Don't know if you can do that without going too far. Just go straight out. It looks weird.
Don't want, in this day and age, I don't want people guessing what I'm doing with my hands. So, do
you know, one time I'm going to put something on a string up there and I'm going to bring it down.
You're going to reveal an attic of secrets.
Yeah, well, let's put it this way. If this was a ladder match, we'd be like,
of course, right. Oh, no.
I'll never reach it. Right, that's all from us at Wrestling Forever. Enjoy your week. See you next time.